That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? You know, one of the biggest controversies, although it was very artificial and made up, but in the movie fandom the last couple of years, was when Warner Brothers decided that their Batgirl movie that they were pretty much almost done making completely. They still had visual effects to do and whatever. They decided just to straight up scrap the movie. They said, this is so bad, we cannot release this. And they didn't feel that the movie would even make enough money to justify the little cost still remaining to finish the film entirely and then to put it out in theaters and market it. They didn't even think they could make that money back. So they decided to scrap the movie. Now, they publicly said that it was really, really bad. I have heard from somebody personally who had, I don't know if they saw the entire thing or not, but who said it was unreleasable, unwatchable. Rob, I think you also talked to somebody who'd seen bits of it and said it was just really not good. So it kind of disappeared. And like, there was some uproar about it, but as time has passed on, we've kind of stopped thinking about it. Until today. Because a couple of things have happened. Number one, another movie that Warner Brothers scrapped, Coyote versus Acme. We talked about this on the show yesterday. Ketchup Entertainment is apparently, who released The Day the Earth Blew Up for Looney Tunes. They are apparently in negotiations with Warner Brothers to acquire Coyote versus Acme and actually give it a release. Whether it'll happen or not, we're not sure, but the chance is there. You're saying there's a chance. The chance is there. Could happen. And on top of that, some footage got leaked today of an action scene that was in the Batgirl movie. Now, as we go over here and take a look at this, right? Here it is. It's DC Films. Look at the media has been disabled in response to a report by the copyright owner. Okay, so I think we found a little bit of a glimpse of it. We won't show it here on the show for obvious reasons, but there was, and you know what? It was a good looking fight scene.
Yeah.
Kind of not as good, but in the same vein of a Daredevil fight scene. Pretty gritty, pretty grounded. A fight in a room, you know, crashing through some bookshelves and stuff like that. It actually, the fight choreography looked okay. It was short. And all that kind of stuff. So with that leaking out and then getting pulled down, and with Coyote versus Acme maybe having a second life, it has renewed the discussion of, could Batgirl still see the light of day? I'm going to still say no, it won't.
Yeah.
And there's a big, big reason for it. As opposed to Coyote versus Acme, which the decision to pull it was strictly financial. They did not think the movie would make enough to justify the additional cost to get it out there. And they pulled the plug on it. But a lot of people who saw it said it was actually really good.
Yeah.
That is not the situation with Batgirl. It was both financial and a quality point of view, where they thought, if we put this out, it's actually just going to damage not only it as a bad movie, it's going to damage our overall brand. And some people then said, that's stupid. No matter how bad it is, it wouldn't damage the brand. Oh yeah? Take a look at this. I rest my case.
I just wish the movie was like this picture.
Yeah. Craven was so bad that not only, and you guys know this is true, that not only did everybody talk about how bad this movie was, it took the overall feelings towards the Sonyverse, which already wasn't high. And it dropped the overall feeling of the overall Sonyverse even more. It didn't just impact the movie, it impacted their entire outfit, the entire division. That's how bad it was. And I remember when Craven came out, I said, I don't want to hear anybody else now talk about, they should have just released Batgirl.
Release the Craven cut.
Release the Craven cut. It just, no, what should have happened was that they should have learned, Sony should have taken a lesson from Warner Brothers and not released Craven, because it just ended up doing damage to their overall brand.
And to Marvel as a whole. You know,
and to Marvel
I mean, both Morbius and Craven are great characters, and they've got great stories behind them. And now, you know, one of the great Spider-Man villains, he's a dead villain. You can't use him unless you're going to substantially I can't imagine the MCU investing any time into Craven now.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing too. Ketchup is also in discussion. Warner Brothers is entertaining offers and discussions about maybe selling Looney Tunes. Like a whole parcel, just moving out of the Looney Tunes business and letting somebody else take it over. Warner Brothers is not looking for somebody else to buy DC. They have big plans for DC. They have high hopes for DC. So if you think that Warner Brothers is going to let somebody just release Batgirl when James Gunn is trying to get a DCU up and running, even if you market, oh guys, this isn't connected to DC, does not matter. There is, in my best Vince McMahon, no chance in hell that they're ever going to let this be. The only way anybody lays eyes on this movie is if somebody breaks into the building some night and leaks it online. That's the only way I think it sees light of day. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Indeed. Okay, so you just realized your business needed to hire somebody like yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you stand out and hire fast. With Sponsored Jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for the right candidates so you can reach the best talent faster. And it works. Indeed's data shows that sponsored jobs get 45% more application than non-sponsored jobs. The thing I'm impressed most with Indeed is how fast it makes hiring. When I was looking to hire somebody for the John Campea Show, the process felt slow and overwhelming. I hate it. I wish I had used Indeed. And you want to know how fast Indeed is? In just the minute that I've been talking to you, 23 hires were made on Indeed worldwide. So don't wait. Speed up your hiring now with Indeed. And for listeners of this show, you get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/Campea. Just go to Indeed.com/Campea and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed here. That's Indeed.com/Campea. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. Anyway, Rob, understandably, there is renewed discussion about Batgirl maybe coming out with the Coyote versus Acme and with the fight scene leaking. Where do you think the chances stand that maybe this does get seen the light of day?
I think you're absolutely right. There's no way. You know, the DC brand is undergoing right now an entire reinvention. It's not just Superman coming out in July. You've got a Supergirl film that's in the middle of production right now. And they've made a substantial financial investment into this. You have Creature Commandos that we've already seen. You have a substantial monetary investment coming out. The studio is really bullish on this. You know, the thing about Superman is, in our space, I've only heard from people who work within the industry that Superman is really good. That's all I've heard. I've heard, you know, the people that have poo-pooed it, at least that I've heard from the industry, are not poo-pooing it in a way that I believe is bad. It's more like they're like, do you think it's really wise that a superhero movie, they're betting a new... If the movie's good, like you always say, winning cures everything.
Yeah.
There's no way they can release even a mediocre Batgirl film in this day and age. Batgirl's a very viable character, or whether it's the Oracle incarnation of Barbara Gordon or whether it's Batgirl herself, important character. Why would you want to do that? You're in the middle of an entire reinvention of DC. It would be a dumb move. Look, do I want to see the Batgirl movie? Yeah, I kind of do. I mean, we live in a world where Batman and Robin was released as a big Batman movie once. I mean, it's not like the studio has this, hey, Shaquille O'Neal is Steel. I mean, it's not like we haven't seen mediocre superhero movies in the past, but not now. Not now. And I think it would be counterproductive for everything that Warner Brothers wants to do.
Yeah, I just, then you always got to, whenever you're proposing something, you have to ask, what's the win? What's the upside? What is the benefit of doing this? And you're going to come up awfully thin trying to come up with benefits of releasing a Batgirl at this point.
And I have to say, Warner Brothers is making, we didn't talk about this, but Warner Brothers made a big move where they brought their movie Weapons, Zach Krieger's follow-up to Barbarian.
Right, yep.
They brought it from 2026 up to 2025 because I have heard in test screenings and the studio, it's a banger. And to be fair, I read that script and I'm like, if Warner Brothers knows what they have, they know what's good and what's not good. And I think that they're making moves. I think right now with their profit, the company's on a little better footing than it was, say, a year or 2 years ago.
Yeah, they've turned it around. Yeah.
I think they're really paying attention to what they need to do. And look, until Superman comes out, there's going to be no one's going to believe. You know when it was you'll believe a man can fly?
Yeah.
I think what Superman is going to do for everybody, you're going to believe in the DC universe.
I sure
that the
hope
DC
so.
universe will fly.
I sure hope so. Now, somebody are pointing out in the live chat, like, wait a minute, I didn't even think Warner Brothers had the option to release it because they claim tax write-offs on it. You still could release it. It's just that you would have to pay that back and pay some penalties. And if they thought they could make some money, like if, say, somebody came along and said, hey, we'll give you $200 million for Batgirl. Warner Bros. Will go, okay, that's more than enough for us to pay back the tax write-off and pay all the penalties and still make some money on it. Great, but nobody's going to offer them $200 million for Batgirl. Anyway, guys. Oh, so what's that, Jonathan?
No, I was just going to say this thing's sitting behind a portrait and a safe next to a snuff film.
Yeah.
8mm 2. Or they made that, didn't they?
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, listen, I think the conversation is understandable with the Coyote versus Acme news coming and with that Foot League. I can understand more people talking about could the possibility exist that Batgirl gets released again. I get it. I just don't think it's likely at all. There are too many negatives that come along with it and just zero upside. I don't know, but maybe you see things differently. What do you think about it? Do you think it could actually happen? If so, what do you think the upsides are? What do you think would have to happen in order for that to come about? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.